Hi, my name is Jamie Lee Dormel and I am a Rapid Transformational Therapist. I want to take this opportunity to share with you a little bit about my background, my knowledge, my experience, why I am capable and confident that I can help you live the life of your dreams and become the best possible version of yourself. I think that it's very important in a therapy relationship for the client and the therapist to have an open and honest relationship. So being an RTT therapist is one of my many labels. I've always been a humanitarian. It is ingrained in my DNA, this ever-growing desire to make a difference in humanity, to make the world a better place. And I've spent my life up to this point nurturing this desire, this gift. It's my purpose. I've always been interested in understanding what drives human behavior, what breaks people, what makes people come alive, what makes people happy. I can see more than what my eyes show me, and whether we're speaking about politics or people, I can read between the lines, if you will. So my quest to understand more about human behavior and human communication and the mind led me to do a double major in university, which was journalism and psychology. I became, in some ways, an investigative journalist of the mind's best practices, if you will. I've had the opportunity of working with diverse people from diverse backgrounds to gain an understanding of the way that our various ecological systems, which are our systems, the complex systems in which we develop, from our immediate family and school systems to the wider, broader cultural structures and values and laws that we live in, how these all impact the individual, as well as, of course, nature and nurture. So how these impact human development, behavior, cognitive functioning, and one's overall well-being. When I completed my degree, my adventurous soul wanted to explore other pastures, sink my toes deep into the unknown, physically and literally, metaphorically. I wanted to see the world and learn about how different people live around the world, how different perspectives, customs, values, and ways of life and education systems lead to different outcomes in the ways of living and overall well-being. My upbringing was a mix of westernized culture, education, and systems with underpinnings in African philosophy. I am because you are. I knew nothing of the East, and I know that the best way to learn is through experience. So I set off to become a teacher in South Korea so that I could understand the impact of various systems have on human development and make a difference and travel and see happiness. What is happiness on the other side of the globe, right? I've long understood that education is an integral part of human development. It's well known that what happens in one's formative years, so between birth and 8, where neurological development occurs most rapidly, forms one's neural blueprint, the blueprint of your brain. Which enables us to think, communicate, move, function in society. So basically, these years have consequential impacts on an individual's lifetimes. So a good education system is thus at the cornerstone of one's well-being. And these powerful information processes, our brains, do a lot of work that we aren't even aware of throughout our whole lives. but especially in these formative years. We don't stop learning after we turn 8, we know that, but many of our fundamental programs of how to survive and how to participate in society are hardwired and installed in our brains during this time, both consciously and subconsciously. So, you know, we're working with the most powerful computer humans have ever experienced here. Your conscious mind is what you make sense of this. It's what you're aware of now. Who you are. Who are you? That thought of who you are, that's your conscious mind. You're conscious of your thought. You're conscious of where you are. You're conscious of what you're doing. That is your conscious mind. That is what is available to you. Your imagination, your creativity, you find that in your conscious mind. What are you thinking right now? That is it. And that is only the tip of the iceberg. That's what they mean when they say you use 10% of your brain. It's the awareness, the consciousness. Now your subconscious, that is where the programming happens. Your subconscious is a million times more powerful than your conscious mind. And that's where the programming has been hardwired, and this plays out unconsciously through your habits, your behaviors, your beliefs about yourself and the world. Subconscious beliefs make up a lot of who you are and how you act out. And we are unaware of these beliefs. Like, your subconscious is like when you drive a car and your thoughts are not, you're not aware of, your thoughts are elsewhere, right? You're driving the car, you're not thinking, I'm driving this car, I am going over a bump, I am putting in gear. Your mind is elsewhere, and your subconscious programs are driving the car for you. So that is sort of how your subconscious works. And it's playing all the time, right? It's always in your mind. It's a pre-installed program and habits that guide our behavior, or many pre-installed programs and habits that guide our behavior. So most of the day, our conscious thoughts are elsewhere. We're thinking about what we're doing, where we're going, got to do this, got to do that, blah, 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 blah. And we default the subconscious, which plays out the programs for us. More on this later, but more on me now and why I'm able to work with you. And I've never given my brain a break. I don't think it's on the cards for me. I enjoy studying. I like studying, and information keeps evolving and expanding, and I guess I want to be at the forefront of the best approaches. So whilst I was in South Korea, I completed my honors degree in applied psychology, basically understanding how different schools of thought in psychology are used in different areas of psychology, sports psychology, community psychology, developmental psychology, neuropsychognitive psych, and so on and so forth, which allowed me to establish a solid foundation as I entered into my master's degree, which was in research psychology. Now, research psychology looks not only at the neurosocio development of an individual, but strives to better understand human behavior in larger ecological systems, like we were talking about earlier, the school, the community. An example of this would be to conduct a study on a community to determine the well-being, and then develop and implement a program to improve this well-being, and then do a test to see whether or not it was successful. You know, find ways to benefit big groups of people. So not like your one-to-one idea of psychology, it's a bigger scale thinking. So my thesis, so that was the master's I did in psychology, and my thesis was on the impacts of positive psychology interventions in education. So positive psychology, I'm sure you know of, is a school of thought which shifts from the traditional psychology's focus on repairing what is broken to seeing what works, right? To capitalize on one's innate strengths, virtues, and potentialities. It's not surprising that incorporating PPIs, positive psychology interventions, such as gratitude practices, meditation, journals, mindfulness. Mindfulness is awareness of the present moment without judgment. Strength, gym, resiliency programs, and so on assist in the identification and development of a child's strength and has profound long-term benefits on their overall well-being, flourishing, social intelligence, self-esteem, character strengths, development, life meaning, and the list goes on and on and on. So these findings, obviously, that I did for school extend to individuals, communities, and organizations. Part of my internship when I completed my master's was done at the Africa Health Research Institute, where I was doing clinical research, and I actually spent a lot of my time where they do clinical research for TB and HIV, and I spent a lot of my time in hospitals watching surgeries, everything from colonoscopies to liver resections. I was there collecting samples. So although I don't plan on cutting anyone open, this was very informative. I learned the inner workings of the human bodies. And then I moved on to our Socioeconomic Research Institute, where my focus was on researching ways to improve education systems in South Africa. And by looking at the best education practices in the world. Now, education, as I sort of touched on earlier, is an imperative part of one's development and forms, a big part of who you become. So it's very important for me to understand ways of education and the best practices of education, and working with you who was once a child and at school and educated, and that had an impact on who you are today as well. So it all just comes together so very well. So while I was doing my research on the best practices for education, I decided I don't just want to write about it, I want to be on the ground. So I qualified, got my 4th degree, became a teacher, and my soul was like, hey, listen, you got to go learn some more about the East. And off I went to Vietnam, where I am now. And boy, has it been an imperative part of my own growth and development. So there's so much to be said about immersing one's self entirely in a different way of life. The endless gratitude I have for this opportunity is amazing. I did have a bit of a brain break, and I stopped studying for a year, but on we went. I started seeing in my mind a sort of new approach, an integrated approach, where a sort of West meets East psychology perspective. It shouldn't be surprising that the psychologies that are associated with a certain place are reflected in the thoughts, beliefs, behaviors, and ways of living in its people. Where Western psychology views the mind and the body as separate entities and focuses more on a pathological approach, focus on the problem, and we find a way to fix the problem. Eastern psychology views the individual more holistically, looking at the deeper nature and the connection between one's body, mind, and soul. It focuses more on the positive and aims to nourish the individual. There are many links between positive psychology and the Eastern thoughts of Eastern schools of thought. So all this learning through books and lived experience has allowed me to develop my own unique approach to therapy, which incorporates West meets East with a bit of African flair. So I've continued my never-ending studies, and I qualified as a Rapid Transformational Therapist, where all the pieces have come together in the most beautiful way and ignited the most incredible approach that can change people's lives. It blows my mind. It is the most beautiful, beautiful thing. So, rapid transformational therapy. Many moons ago, it would take a really long time to send a letter from point A to point B, okay? Because, well, you had to probably get someone else to write the letter for you, send the letter in a pigeon's mouth over the seas into the ship. The ship had to carry it over, and then the guy had to ride his horse to deliver it to that person who delivered it to that person. It took months, right? It took months. And now, the click of a button and it's instant. I don't even know if there's split seconds, right? It's almost instant. You can send a message instantly. So it would make sense that the processes that we understand and the ways in which we understand the human mind have also progressed, and they've also evolved. And it does not have to take years of therapy to understand why you're unhappy or why you're unable to live up to your fullest potential, to understand what your blocks are. Now, rapid transformational therapy incorporates the best practices of hypnotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, psychotherapy, and neurolinguistic programming, which assists the individual in accessing their subconscious programs, patterns, and beliefs, and understanding the root causes of their presenting issues, and reprogramming these beliefs and patterns for success. So it's not like a plaster that you put over your problems to hide them away, or a band-aid, if you will, to hide the problems, but it goes deep into your subconscious to understand the roots of these problems. And once you understand these roots, these programs, you can rewire. It provides people with a lifelong tool and empowers them to understand their mind and become the authors of their own stories. So whether you're dealing with addictions, weight management problems, health problems, anxiety, phobias, depression, rapid transformational therapy allows for change from physical, emotional, and psychological pain by reframing one's core beliefs, values, habits, and emotions in the subconscious. By rewiring the neural pathways, those connections that developed when you were young, through your whole life, but really when you were young, especially these pathways that developed, you are able to go into your subconscious, rewire these pathways, and replace outdated belief systems and negative behavior patterns. So enabling you to have new life-affirming beliefs, to form these new life-affirming beliefs within your subconscious and allow the transformational process to begin. So it gives people power to harness the most powerful potential on the planet, and that is your mind. Now, I know that it sounds too good to be true, but I've seen it work in my own life and in the lives of so many other people, and it is the most incredible thing. And I'm so excited to share this, and I just want to share this magic with you, assist you in transforming your life and becoming the best version of yourself. It's my purpose to guide people to their fullest potential. I want to show you how capable you are. I want to empower you by showing you the unlimited capabilities and potentials that you have to become the person that you've always dreamed about and to live the life that you have always dreamed about. And I promise you, it is closer than you think. So if you're ready to transform, or you want to work on something, whatever it may be, contact me and we can arrange a discovery call where we see if we fit together And yeah, I mean, you may as well try, right? You've got nothing to lose except for those hardwired programs that are in your subconscious mind and no longer serving you. But I promise you, there's so much for you to gain, and there's a bounty of potential waiting for you to tap into it, and you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. And I just want to give you that power. I want to show you that you have the key. It's incredible, and it's just profound. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to speaking with you. Much love. Thank you for listening.